Louise Brooks, a contemporary of Clara Bow, worked for the same studio and experienced similar star treatment.
I thought she was the most marvelous star of the 20s because she was the 20s, really. Garbo came from Europe, and Swanson was already very sophisticated at dressy and Cecil B. DeMille, but Clara was, as she called herself, the real jazz baby. She got her job in Hollywood, not, she said very carefully, through a beauty contest. She never thought she was beautiful. It was a personality contest that she won. Adela Rogers St. John did a wonderful series at that time in photoplay and told about how she grew up, her father, in Brooklyn, on the streets. She was absolutely a sensation in the United States in Dancing Mothers. And she was so, she just swept the country. I know I saw her and I thought she was, wonderful. Everybody did. She became absolutely a star overnight with nobody's help. He said that she was absolutely marvelous. You set up, you told her what the scene was, and you just let her go. He said, for instance, where she has a little toy dog. Well, he didn't tell her. Remember, she looks at the dog and she turns around, lifts up his tail and looks at its behind. That was her idea. Everything she did was completely original, and he said, when you start to direct her, you get mad, because she's doing all these things, and then you run them, and they're wonderful. Another thing she did in that picture was the scene where she goes in to interview him. Remember, she walks across and slides right straight across the desk. All those things were hers, you see. That was what made her so marvelous. She wasn't acceptable socially. Eddie Sutherland my husband gave absolutely the best parties in Hollywood. So I asked him one day to invite Clara Bow, and he said, oh, heavens, no, we can't have her. We don't know what she do. She's from Brooklyn. Everyone on the lot at Paramount said, of course, she's the greatest actress, but she wasn't acceptable, and she knew that. She was very fond of gambling, terribly fond of gambling. So the studio got her terribly in debt to them, because she didn't understand money, of course, and she would lose 10, 15, 20,000 a lick at these gambling casinos in Nevada.
Louise Brooks, also having problems at Paramount, was ordered to join her for a voice test.
So I wasn't told Clara was going to make the test with me, and I'd never met her. And I walked in to the studio, and there was a big couch, and she was sitting in a corner of it, all curled up, and I sat down, and she just began to talk. She knew all about me. She was telling me about how dreadfully Schulberg was treating her, and I said, well, what's he doing? She said, Schulberg sends Ruth Chatterton up to my house on Thursday.
Ruth Chatterton, a Broadway star, had been told to improve Clara's voice. Clara didn't want improving.
And she said, I beat it out the back door because they make me feel so terrible that I can't talk. And he told her her Brooklyn accent was awful, but it really wasn't at all. She was the biggest star. She was the biggest moneymaker in Hollywood, above Garbo, above them all. But as soon as Schulberg lost interest in her, that, of course, is when she began to slip inside her own head. Because Clara really didn't exist. She didn't exist off the screen. She'd manufactured this whole person.